all children deserve education on par with the rest of the country. This is something that most Americans feel strongly about. The way in which the education is provided has for a long time been left to the parents to decide. As most people know, there are different types of learners. Some children, they do best in a hands-on environment. Some need to hear material. Others must visualize. There's also the need for interaction with other children, and in some cases, a need for one-on-one attention. Some children are more self-motivated than others, and they thrive in an online or in a homeschool environment. Many very successful people have been taught this way, including myself. I was homeschooled by my mother until I was in the 9th grade. I then began taking some various classes at a local public school, like science and Spanish. She did a wonderful job teaching my siblings and I. However, there have been times throughout my higher education where I noticed holes and gaps what other students did not have. I would love to discuss the reasons parents should be mandated to pass a standardized test before homeschooling. For many people, the subject of homeschooling is foreign. So here's what the state of Minnesota requires for homeschooling. Requirements may differ from state to state. I grew up in Minnesota, so that's the state I'm going to use for my information. If you are teaching your own child in the state of Minnesota, you do not need a teaching license or a teaching degree of any kind whatsoever. If you are teaching someone else's child, you do. The parent must notify the school district that they live in that they are homeschooling if the children are between the ages of 7 and 16. The parents must keep documentation of classes and curriculum used. There are a list of classes that must be taught. In what order is often left to the parents to decide. The child must undergo a standardized test at the end of every year. These results are not required to be turned in, however. If the child falls below the 30th percentile, they're supposed to be evaluated for learning disabilities. Since homeschooling is largely ran on an honor system, it is incredibly easy for children to fall through the cracks, however. Learning disabilities can easily be missed by those who are untrained on the matter. Learning disabilities can come off as the child is difficult or the child does not want to learn. My brother was diagnosed with dyslexia his freshman year of college. He had taught himself how to read as a child after many, many years of struggling. I remember one point my mom even taking him to the eye doctor to see if there was something wrong with his eyes. It's quite interesting how he was able to fall through the cracks for that long, and it's really amazing that he was able to teach himself how to read. He actually reads more than anybody I've ever met, so it's quite interesting. When sending a transcript to a college for the first time, this transcript is sent by the school, aka the parent of the child. This is sometimes could be fabricated if they wanted to. There is supposed to be a minimum of 165 days within the year where a school is attended. Many states require a lesson plan or a curriculum to be provided, but this is not always followed up with, and there is really no way to ensure it is followed through with. In most states, there is a minimum of a bachelor's degree to teach in elementary school. Teachers are special. They are a group of people who devote their lives to schooling. It's not that a teacher or someone who is gifted in teaching could not teach their own child. However, not just anyone can teach a child to read, write, talk, and learn math. Even less people are able to teach complex subjects like algebra and chemistry. Now that we've discussed the requirements for homeschool and for public school teaching in the state of Minnesota, I want to explain a little bit more about why this subject really matters so much to me. As I said before, I was homeschooled for the beginning of my schooling, and I even ended up graduating from homeschool. I would say that my mom did her very best, and I turned out all right. But I think for myself, I would have done better in a traditional school setting. I struggled massively for years with mathematics, and I convinced myself that since I couldn't learn the way that I was being taught, I wasn't smart enough. I truly believe that I wasn't smart enough to go to college, so I took about 5 years off between high school and college, and going back was a huge step for me, and it took a lot of self-motivating and encouragement from friends and family members. There's a cartoon I saw many years ago that resonated with me. It's a picture of a monkey, a goldfish, and an elephant, and the teacher told them all to climb a tree, and this would show how smart they were. I think this applies to all education, and I really truly hope that we as a society are working on adapting our curriculum for all of our children. And I know that this alternative learning system of homeschooling might be a great option for some children, but it might not be for others. But like I was saying, there are many great things about being able to cater to a child's needs. However, there are not many people who are able to teach all the subjects that are required in an education. Being proficient enough to teach math, science, and English, just to name a few, is rare. I will say that I truly believe that there's no perfect way to teach all children, and every child should be looked at individually. In a perfect world, we are all given the same shot and opportunities. I know from the little I did attend of a public school that they have flaws as well. However, I believe that someone who wants to teach their child and wants to set the tone for truly the rest of their lives should need to pass a standardized test to do so.